Thank you so much for joining us today for Connect Exchange as we present Cirrus Insight and our partnership, Hands-on Connect Cloud Solutions partnership with Cirrus Insight. My name is Melissa Dees, and I am the Vice President of Marketing and Sales. And joining us today is Sue Fernand, who is the Vice President of Channel Sales with Cirrus Insight. And I'm going to just turn this right over to her and let her give you some information on this amazing product. Let me see if we can make Sue a presenter.
Excellent. Thanks, Melissa. And
Mm-hmm.
thank you, everyone, for giving us your time this afternoon. Yep, I've got it. So perfect. So hopefully everybody is seeing my screen. Melissa, are you seeing my screen?
I am.
Excellent. So just a quick kind of introduction as to what Cirrus Insight is. We put Salesforce right in the inbox. So we make Salesforce easier to use and easier to adopt for users by putting it in their workflow. So if you've got people that are primarily living in email, to try to navigate between email and then go into Salesforce to log information, a lot of times it's duplicate efforts. A lot of times because of that fact, it doesn't happen because there's just not enough time in the day to make that happen. So we put everything right in the inbox. There's really no reason to have to log into Salesforce because it's going to be right inside your inbox. I'm going to be showing it today with Gmail because I know our partners at Hands-on Connect use Gmail. They recommend Gmail to their clients, but we do also support Outlook as well as Office 365. So it's not limited to just a Gmail inbox. So when I'm in my email, I'm able to, obviously I do a lot of work in email and communicating with clients and partners and all of that, but the benefit of having Cirrus Insight in there is I can easily keep Salesforce up to date. So for example, when I'm hovering over users inside or somebody is corresponding with me, so for example, James, he's on our team. I know Melissa knows James well. If I highlight over James's name, immediately James's information in Salesforce pops out in the side panel. So I can quickly see, is James in Salesforce or not? Is he in there as a contact or lead? It's also going to show me some good information on what's going on with his account in Salesforce. So I can see if I've been sending him emails, has he been opening those emails? Because email tracking is also part of our app and you can enable that. If I'm managing opportunities, I can see all of the open opportunities. I can see all the closed opportunities. I can also see if I want to go into more detail on the opportunities, I can drill down and get that information. I'm also able to go in and see any related list information. So obviously mine's going to look a lot different than people on this call because it's all customizable, but you'd see, custom objects here as well. And again, I can go in, for example, for us at Cirrus, we do all our license management in Salesforce. So I can actually see the licensed user information and activate users and extend trials right in my inbox without having to go into Salesforce to do so. So you'll be able to know is someone in Salesforce or not based on those little dots next to their name. If it's a blue dot, they're in there as a contact. If it's a yellow dot, they're in there as a lead. So for example, I highlight over this individual, it shows me that he's in Salesforce as a lead, but again, it's still going to load the snapshot. It's not going to show me opportunities or cases because I don't have that capability in Salesforce for leads, but I'm still going to see any upcoming activities, any of my email tracking stats, and again, any of my related list information is completely viewable. If somebody's not in Salesforce, that's when you'd see this little blank dot next to their name. But I can very, very easily add them to Salesforce. So I can create them right from the side panel as a contact or a lead. So I could just go ahead and decide I want to put this person in there as a lead. And we do use some signature extraction. So if there's a signature in the email, we can automatically pull that info and autofill the form for you. So making that process even easier. And then I can just very quickly save it. And now that person's a new lead or a new contact in Salesforce, but I didn't have to go in, log in, and do any of that. It made it very easy for me to do that inside of the side panel. You can also create any records right from our app too. So again, I don't need to wait for someone to correspond with me. I can go in and just say, hey, I want to add a new opportunity, a new lead, a new case, or anything I'm using inside of Salesforce I can manage through here. So you can create new records without entering. You can also completely search Salesforce too. So again, I'm not, having to wait for someone to correspond with me to look them up. And you could do a power search, which will search across all of the fields, or I can go in and be specific. So if I'm looking for a specific account, so let's say I want to look up Melissa and her account over Hands-on Connect, oops, I think it's all in there as one word. This goes in and searches Salesforce and finds it for me. So I can go in and access that. I can go in and edit the record. Just like if I were to go into Salesforce and search Hands-on Connect and go in and engage with it that way, I can completely do it in the side panel. We also give you the ability to manage different list views in the side panel. So this is something that we've added recently in our most recent release, which is 5.0. And one of the things that we found, salespeople in particular are very focused on what's happening this month, and you'd want to go in and maybe look at that list of opportunities in Salesforce and kind of manage that pipeline. Well, now you can do that right in the side panel. So I could take a look at what is closing this month and then go in and completely update and manage those opportunities right in the sidebar. I can even go in and manage my tasks in Salesforce. So any Salesforce tasks, I could filter this view based on what's on the docket for today, what's overdue, the same types of things I could do in Salesforce. If I want to see just what's due today, this will pop up my task list. And then again, I can go in and manage those tasks too. I can also, just take a look at all of my accounts or all of my contacts too. So if I just want to go in and kind of manage my account list, I could filter this out. So this could be accounts all, or maybe I've got these filters that are already created in Salesforce. Maybe I want to just focus on accounts that are in France. I can pull all of that into the side panel. So it makes it really, really easy for me to use Salesforce, but use it inside of my workflow, which happens to be in email. So that's kind of, from the inbound approach. When you're sending correspondence, there's a lot of things we can do there as well. So when I want to send a message to someone, I've got this Cirrus Insight toolbar that loads. One of the things that we can support in the background, and again, making it even easier for data to get into the platform, is we can sync all of your emails and all of your calendar events to Salesforce. So this way, I don't even have to choose to do that on the fly. And I can just manage email on my calendar the way I always have, but it's just going to put that information in Salesforce for me. And you can set up some particulars around it, like you can relate emails to any of the most recently modified or created of the standard objects in Salesforce. So salespeople might want to do that to the most recently modified opportunity. Same thing with the calendar. And with the calendar, you could say, only sync events that are not private. So this way, events that I'm marking private on my calendar, they're not going to go into Salesforce. So if I'm sending an email to someone, I happen to use the sync, so automatically my little cloud goes on. If you're not using the sync, then you could go ahead and choose to add it to Salesforce. And I'm relating them to my opportunities. That's why I pulled this up. But again, you can be very specific with where this goes. You can either do a very quick add that goes into activity history, or you could, relate it to a particular lead or contact or any of your related records. And if there are attachments, you could add those attachments to Salesforce too. Tracking of emails is, again, something that can be turned on, so you're tracking all emails. There's some preferences there too, so if you're not concerned with tracking internal emails, you turn that off. This allows me to know if someone opened my email and also if they've clicked on a link. So again, pretty valuable if you're trying to communicate with people and you're not sure, hey, did they get that message or not? This lets you have all that information. And again, it's all reportable back to Salesforce, and I can also see all of my tracking stats right in email. So if I'm curious if someone opened that email or not, I can go ahead and search that person and I can see. I can even filter it out, based on time parameters as well. Another feature that I use all the time, and again, this is great for people that book a lot of meetings, instead of the back and forth that you might engage with where you're sending a bunch of different times that might work for you and then they're sending you some times back that work for them and they're in a different time zone, maybe can get a little ugly. This just allows me to pull my calendar right into the app, and I can choose a different time zone to display. I also can edit all of these fields, so I could give this a different name. I could call it maybe Cirrus Insight Training, location could be a GoToMeeting or whatever I want to put in there. But once I select these times, this is what the person on the other end gets in the email. So it's basically saying that I want to set a meeting up with them. And again, you could edit this here if you wanted to, and they can select that time. If they're not on the East Coast, they can view this all in their time zone. Once they click on this, it's booked on my calendar, they get an invite, and then again, because I'm syncing my calendar with Salesforce, now that meeting is in Salesforce so that it's an upcoming event. You can also just display a link to your calendar. So I can either give people times that work for me, or I could just say, you know what, here's a link to my calendar. Go ahead and pick some time. And you can use that link all over the place. Like you could put that in your signature, in templates, because that's your personal meeting link. And it's just allowing you to give people access to your calendar. They can't see the events, they just see free busy. And then you're also able to obviously set up the parameters about working hours and that type of thing as well, and time slots. We've also got the ability for Gmail only, because Outlook supports this natively. If you want to send an email later, if you're someone that's getting your emails done on a Sunday night, but you really don't want your emails hitting somebody's inbox on a Sunday night, you just queue it up to be sent when you want. Or maybe someone's asking me to send them something next week. Well, I could actually do it right now and just schedule it to go out next week. So just gives you the ability to kind of queue up some emails. You can also make sure that if you want to follow up on an email, that you can make sure that you're following up on it. I mean, obviously I could now go and create a task to remind myself to follow up, but that's going to take me a few extra steps. This will allow me to automatically generate a task. And I can also have it come right back into my inbox. So it's actually going to email me and say, hey, you asked us to remind you to follow up. And I can even write my notes. So maybe I'd say, get a meeting booked. And then I can choose either these parameters or a specific time. So maybe I want to follow up tomorrow morning or Thursday morning, and I can just hit save. That's going to create that task, and it's going to send me an email reminding me to follow up with this email. So now I know why I'm following up, and it makes it super easy for me to stay on top of that correspondence. For those of you on the line that use Salesforce email templates or want to, this is a great feature as well, because it makes it very, very easy to access the content and create new content. This can be a little bit more of a complicated thing. It's in Salesforce, but it's not necessarily an easy spot to get to. So right from here, I can choose these templates. And again, I can choose any of the folders in Salesforce. So if there's any folders I have access to, I can see them here. But if I'm just concerned with maybe my own ones, I can go in and select one. If I want to edit it, I can. You will see your open and reply rates, because we're using email tracking with that as well. So for example, if I want to just select this one, it just determines the merge, because you can insert your merge fields. I hit merge and boom, it's just popped in there. It allows very, very easy for me to use my Salesforce email templates right within the app. And again, if I want to create a net new one, I can do that right through here too. So he brought the Salesforce template editor into here. So I can just use all of my merge fields from here. I can insert images, I can insert links. You can again save it from here into your Salesforce email templates too. So you don't have to go into Salesforce to create net new ones either. It's a super easy feature there. We also have a mobile app. So a lot of the things that I'm showing you are obviously great when I'm in Gmail or Outlook or Office 365 on my computer, but if you happen to be mobile, we want that experience to be the same. Now obviously email and calendar sync, they're happening no matter what, so you don't have to be using our app to have that happen, because it's just happening in the background. But if you use Cirrus Insight Mobile, it's the same concept as this. It is really an email client, so you would go in there to check your email instead of going in through the mail app on your phone. And the benefit of doing that is all of your contextual Salesforce information would pop out in the side panel. So I get an email from someone, I can see if they're in Salesforce or not, I can update records, I can add them if they're not in. I can also, when I'm sending emails to them, they can be tracked. So I can still have that tracking feature. You also can use book meeting. You can also use email templates. So if you're wanting to kind of load up your templates with a bunch of kind of standard responses, now you can do that right from your phone. And the book meeting one I love for my phone, because that's even more challenging, trying to kind of toggle between your calendar and your email and trying to put some times in. You can just hit the book meeting and the same thing. It's going to pull up your calendar, let you pick some slots, and then send it over. So making that, that whole process a lot easier. From the tracking aspect, again, I'll see it in the snapshot when someone corresponds with me, kind of their tracking for the last 7 days. But if I want to drill down and get more detailed, I can see that all inside of my inbox. So essentially I go in, I can search particular recipients if I want. This is loading my stats. So it's basically telling me I've sent, in the last 3 months, this many emails. Here's my open rate. I send a lot of correspondence. Here's my reply. Here's my clicks. And then I can also go in and view those individual emails if I want. So I can actually drill down and see what the rates are on that too. So the tracking stats are great. They're all inside of your inbox, so you have easy access to them. I kind of like at the end of the week, I'll look in and see for the week who hasn't open my email, and then I'll, maybe plan another way to reach out to them. So it's, useful to have that information. Makes you feel like you're not flying so blind. If you're putting links in there too, if maybe it's links to content that you want to share, now you know not only did they open your email, but they clicked on that link. So it kind of gives you a better idea of how engaged someone might be with your correspondence. The other thing that we do have too is an analytics package that can be loaded into Salesforce, so that you can see how much adoption is increasing by using Cirrus Insight. So it kind of is a great way to, easily cost justify the app. And as Melissa mentioned before we started, we do a 50% discount automatically for nonprofits. So we make it, easy to purchase it as well. And then in terms of how we deliver it, it's all client side. So with Google, it's either a Chrome or a Firefox extension. With Outlook, it's a plugin. If someone's using Office 365 with the web app, it's just a native add-in. So really, outside of analytics, nothing needs to be installed inside of Salesforce. So it's a really super easy deployment. We offer free trials. If you go to our website, you'll see that you can do a free trial for 14 days without having to put a credit card down or anything like that. And we actually have a custom link for Hands-On Connect that Melissa can share it with you. That way it would automatically track that you came from Hands-On Connect, and would automatically track the nonprofit code too if you guys decide, hey, we want to purchase the app and sign up. And the mobile app, if you want to test that out, if you have an iPhone, it's just, go to the App Store and search Cirrus Insight Mobile. If you have an Android, just go on Google Play and search it, and same thing. You just need to set up your email, authenticate to Salesforce, and you're good to go. So with that, I guess, Melissa, I might just turn it back to you if you want to share anything else with the team. I think we managed to keep it in our 20-minute window, which is good. I want to be respectful of your time. I'm sure everybody's getting hungry on the line.
Thank you so much, Sue. I appreciate that, and appreciate your time being with us today to tell our customers about Cirrus Insight and the wonderful capabilities that are there. Just quickly, we do have some upcoming webinars. Connect University that meets most Thursdays. Obviously, we're missing a Thursday for Thanksgiving, and we hope you all have a great holiday. But Profiles and Field Level Security is this Thursday. Libby, our super admin, will be sharing that information. And then coming soon to Connect Exchange are Map Anything and Click and Pledge events. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much, Sue, for sharing this information with us. And if you have any questions, be sure to let us know. Sue, would you like to share your email address again in case?
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's S Fernand, so it's Fernand at cirrusinsight.com. In fact, if I put it in the chat, will everyone get it, Melissa? I believe they will, right?
Yeah, great idea.
I'm going to put it right inside of the chat to organizers, to everybody. I think it lets me do that. And that way, if you guys need to reach me, have any questions at all, I'd be happy to do that and answer that for you.
Thanks again, and we will see you soon.